Hey, Mario Rodriguez here, and this is my review on the Sci Fi Valley Con 2019. It's been a couple of years, but I'm glad to be back to check it out. And yeah, it's a pretty big con. I brought a friend along with me. He's mostly checked out the Steel City Con. Of course, the Steel City Con is mostly like this gigantic room. But now Sci-Fi Valley is like, 2 floors, much bigger con, more to do, more to see. We got panels, we got gaming rooms, and all that cool stuff. For me, my major thing to check out, I always got like a little reason, a little like micro goals for the cons. For me, it was to meet Ralph Paulson, the voice of so many cartoon characters from my childhood. He, of course, in the side of the TMNT, he voices Raphael for the original 80s Turtle cartoon. He voices Donatello from the 2011 or 12, whatever year it was, the 2012 Nickelodeon cartoon. And even though he is not in Rise of the TMNT as one of the characters, he is the voice director of the show, so that's pretty cool. And of course, he also voices Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Maurice LaMarche, or LaMarche, I don't know. He voices the Brain. He was going to be there, so it was like your chance to meet both Pinky and the Brain at the same time, and hopefully, I guess, see them kind of play off each other and stuff like that. We also had Seth Gillian, who voiced, well, he doesn't voice. He's that pastor guy for The Walking Dead. It's been so long that I forgot like what his name is. And honestly, like, I don't even know if the character is still alive now in The Walking Dead. I know they did like the big time skip, like after the defeat of Negan and all that. So I don't know if he's still around in the show like now, but he's, one of the big stars there. And we also got Billy West, who's the voice of Ren and Stimpy, and also Zoidberg and Fry, and a whole bunch of other characters. So it's all pretty cool. A lot of cool people to meet. For me, my main people to meet were Ralph Paulson and Billy West. And also they had a retro gaming room, which is pretty cool. So anyways, the cool thing is, once I got there, and we kind of, walked around, checked out the dealers and stuff like that, I was going to go check out Ralph Paulson and get his autograph. I was asking around, like, yo, where's the celebrity autograph booths? Where do I go? So I was pointing in general direction to go there. And as I go there, you're kind of going through the crowd, slowly pushing your way through the people. And I see this guy amongst, other people walking around. And like, I was like, he looked familiar, like, wait, is that Ralph Paulson? What's he doing walking around? And I just kind of looked at him, just trying to recognize if that's him. And I'm like, dude, are you? And he like winked and smiled. I'm like, holy shit, it's him. And I was like, wow, what are you doing just, walking around amongst us regular folk? And he was like, you had to go to the bathroom or whatever. So, I shook his hand. It was cool, and yeah, I'll wait. And I just went to his booth and waited till whenever he came back. So since I already met him before, when he came back, he's like, hey, there's my buddy. Come over here, So he posed for our photo. I did ask him a couple of questions, just real quick. It was so cool because it was so early, no one was there were no lines. It kind of time to kind of BS a little bit without, you know how it is when you're in the line, you got to kind of talk and be like, oh my God, you're awesome, and then you got to move because there's other people in line. There are no people in line, you can still kind of sort of talk a bit. So, yeah, I asked him like how it felt like to be a voice director now as opposed to being the guy doing the voices. And he said that, it's very different, responsibility and all that. But he tries not to, how should I say, he tries not to limit the people. He tries very hard to not tell the people, like the voice actors, like, don't say it this way. Try saying it this way. Like, he tries to let them be them and have as much control over their voices and stuff, and just kind of make the characters their own, because of course, as he was a voice actor, like he knows how that feels. And I also asked him about the old days, because of course, nowadays for voice acting, most of the time, everyone does the recording separately and just sends over the footage or whatever. But back in the day of the Turtles, like the original 80s cartoon, all the people were in the same room, like a radio play, they're all reading their lines and stuff. And Paulson said he misses that because it was just easier. You're like right there. You're with the people, and you can bounce off each other and stuff like that a lot more, and it's pretty cool. And he still hangs out with the people. He still hangs out with Barry Gordon and Renee Jacobs and all of them. So it's pretty cool. He still kind of talks with them and hangs with them. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. I ran into him once or twice. He always like smiled or something. So that's kind of cool. And I got to meet Billy West. And I also got autograph and stuff. I did ask him, I don't know the exact history, I don't know who was who, but I remember in the first season of Ren and Stimpy, the actual creator of the show voiced one of the characters while he voiced the other one. But I know that after he left or, got fired off his own show, Billy West got to do both Ren and Stimpy. So I was asking him, like, how was it that now, like, how did you feel, I guess, like, when you had to suddenly take control of both characters now? And he told me that it wasn't like a big deal because he was originally auditioning to do the voice of both characters. So it kind of worked out in the end because originally he was supposed to do them both anyway. So, you know, it just worked out for him. That was pretty cool. And yeah, I got a big picture with him too. And I saw a bit of his panel. He was talking a bit. I missed part of it, but I did see the part where he was talking about how he got like the role for Zoidberg, and how he was like looking at the picture, what the character looks like, and trying to get an idea of what like voice direction to give Zoidberg and stuff like that. And just laughing about, like, you know, he's poor. He's a doctor, but he's poor. Like what the heck? And that's just like the comedy just writes itself with the Futurama characters. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And of course we also have the big retro gaming room, and holy shit, yeah, they have Super Nintendo and Genesis and all that crap, but they had a Neo Geo system. It's my first time seeing a Neo Geo since we used to own one, and it's such a weird irony that it crashed. It was a crashed Neo Geo, and I don't know, this is the second day. The con is like all 3 days. I just went Saturday. I don't know if Friday it was working. Any of you guys that were there, like, at the con on day one, you maybe tell me, like, was the Neo Geo actually working on day one, or was it crashed all day? I don't know, but they had a copy of, I believe, one of the Samurai Showdown games, and it was just crashed. The screen was completely flickered. I tried to turn it off, turn it back on, and whatever, but, you know, it just crashed, and it kind of takes me back to when my own Neo Geo crashed. At the Neo Geo CD, and yes, the loading times are as bad as I heard they were. Like, it just loads so much in between rounds, and the games are perfect replicas of the real Neo Geo games, but they had remixed music, and of course the annoying load times. TurboGrafx 16 was there, the Jaguar, the 3DO, the what? Yep, the 3DO, and we also had like the what do you call it, ColecoVision, and all these super old computers. They were just there for display. You can't actually play them or anything, but they were just there. And it reminds me of floppy disks. Like, do you remember floppy disks? Like, they just took me back. Like, I almost wish they were hooked up some way, because I'm just curious. But, yeah, they had some real old stuff there. And no, I didn't have time to check out the Virtual Boy, unfortunately. I saw some kids play it. They were bored by it. I was kind of curious. I mean, if it's there, if the opportunity presents itself again, I'll probably play it this time. And aside from that, like, most of the time for me, mostly it was gaming, looking at the dealers here and there, and there was a bit of a loss of communication here, so I kind of lost my friend, had to find him. He was someplace the whole time. He was playing D&D the whole time. They had some cool D&D campaigns. People were having fun. For him, that was his day, but for me, I was looking around for him because I couldn't find a room, but, you know. The dealers rooms were pretty cool. One thing noticeable is that there was like a huge artist thing, like most of the dealers were like artists, you know, aspiring young artists, and people that are also like publishers, making their own books and giving ideas on how to self-publish and stuff like that. And just real quick, if I can see if I can find something here, I want to give shout out to Fury Willow-Shire. And I'm going to put like his link to his Facebook. He has like cool fantasy books. It's kind of like people hunting monsters that exist, you know, in our modern world. Like this phoenix horse made out of fire that's like going around killing people, and they got to hunt them and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And I also met this woman that Janine Ippolito. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. I'll just say Janine. And she had lots of stories. It also dealt with fantasy and like witches and vampires and people with wishes and stuff like that. And she had this cool book called The Irresistible World Building for Unforgettable Stories, which is pretty cool because it helps you, like, a lot of like ideas, pointers, tropes, stuff like that for how to make your own story, but also how to like build your world. And it's cool for writers if you ever do it. I'm just kind of curious. I'm not going to say I'm going to write anything, but I'm just kind of curious. This kind of stuff always fascinates me, so that's pretty cool. And, yeah, what can I say? There are lots of cool cosplays, lots of cool costumes. A lot of people with super heavy-duty, like overly detailed armor and stuff. I think some of them were like from Monster Hunter, I want to say. But it was like very impressive, so my props to you. The last thing I want to mention that kind of stood out to me were there were like these outdoor, I guess, like LARPing, faith fighting events where people would gear up with these, you know, giant shields and giant swords and all kinds of weapons like that. and of course it's like sign a waiver. I was kind of curious until, because you don't think about that stuff, but they didn't start mentioning waivers, like we're not liable if you get injured. I'm like, I don't know about that. And some of these guys are bigger dudes, and I actually saw one dude do like an actual UFC takedown, just grab the dude and just like flip them down on the ground. I'm like, holy shit, is that part of the rules? So I'm kind of like, no. But yeah, I got some rules. The only rule I heard offhand is if they hit your shield twice, you gotta drop it because it's like your shield is broken. And if they hit your leg, you gotta, fall down on one knee, like if you got injured, so you're not cheating and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting though. It's pretty cool. And yeah, it was going on for a while, and it's pretty interesting. And that's something like unique, something cool for the outdoors. And also we had the Impala there, the Impala from Supernatural, and there was a friend of mine that couldn't make it, so of course I just had to kind of take some pictures of it to kind of rub it in. We were gonna go see it last year, but we couldn't, and his whole reason for wanting to go was to see the Impala, so I just had to be, my usual self and take a picture of it, just kind of rub it in there. And I also found a copy of Castlevania Adventure for the Game Boy. Just show it to Brian real quick, because Brian recently reviewed it. Brian said, no, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. The game's crappy, That's kind of funny. And I also saw Tiger games. Like, holy shit, Tiger games. Now, of course, they're old, and they're going to cost probably $20 or whatever, 30, 40 bucks, just because of their age and whatever. But, like, I never thought I was going to see Tiger games ever again. And I mean, if it was a game I kind of liked, I didn't care about what they had. If it was a game I kind of liked, or my old Strider game, maybe I would have bought it, like, for memories, but, I don't know. So anyways, guys, it was a lot of fun. For me, my main goal was to meet Rob Paulson. I did that. That was pretty cool. I got to talk to him. That's cool, the talking. I like, it's not just like, send my picture, okay, thanks, bye, next. I like that you can actually talk and chill, and, you can say, like, man, you're awesome. I watched the show when I was a kid, and you voiced so many characters from my childhood, like that's awesome, And got to meet Billy West, also pretty cool. Ren and Stimpy was wanting me to have cable TV. We were talking about that too, about cable TV. That back then, cable was an option, and now if you want TV, for the most part, like, you have to have cable. You have to have cable. Like, unless you live in some place that your antenna still has good condition, like good quality, good signal. I mean, you just have to have cable if you want to watch TV in most parts of the world, unless, of course, you're moving on to Netflix and Hulu and whatever. But yeah, back then, cable was an option. Back then, regular TV had 30, 40 channels as is, which is my parents never wanted to spend extra money, because it's like, yo, we got, 50, 60 stations. Why we got to pay more for cable and stuff like that? So that kind of took me back. I remember that. Me and Billy West talked a bit about how cables changed. But again, that's kind of cool. We get to talk and jibber-jabber about stuff like that. And I checked out the retro gaming room, about a couple of cool things without, like, breaking the bank. They got these cool figures based on Dragon Ball Z Super Broly, which is, of course, Broly and Gogeta Blue, which, of course, I'll unbox later on. So there's no rush. I'll show them later on with more detail, and that's pretty cool. And I also bought my new wall scroll. Finally, a new wall scroll. I've been looking for one for the last couple of years, and the cons either didn't have any or didn't have any that I didn't really want to buy. And like Level Up Expo had some, but I didn't want to deal with having to like take them with me, like on the plane, the flight, or whatever. But here, it's like, I can just take it around, so much easier. So that's pretty cool. My new Chun-Li Street Fighter 4 wall scroll, that's awesome. So anyways, guys, Mark Rodriguez here, and that's all I got to say. It's a pretty cool con, lots of fun. A lot of my friends, some co-workers, a couple of familiar faces here and there, amazing cosplays. I met these cool people that have done so much for my childhood, and yeah, it was just a good time overall, a lot of fun. So anyways, guys, I'll see you next time for the next convention I go to. We're going to try to see what other comics we can check out, and yeah, see you next time.